Hello, Wanderers. Before we get into today's episode, we wanted to let you guys know about a few things. First, we have a community Discord server where you can interact with other lovers of the Backrooms, share awesome memes, and more. Next, we finally opened a merch shop. We're very excited to embark on this new step for the podcast, so go on over and give it a look. And lastly, we're always looking for feedback on the podcast, so if there are any suggestions on what you'd like for us to cover, please shoot us a message. P.S. Thanks for all the short stories you guys have been sending. We enjoy reading what you guys send, so please keep it up. We'll be leaving a link to the Discord as well as the merch store in the show descriptions, so with that short message out of the way, let's return to the episode. Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Traveler's Guide to the Backrooms, where we try to go over and explain the lore of the many levels and entities within. My name is Sharp A3, an M.E.G. AI processing system, and today, we'll be going over how levels are classified within the Backrooms. So, I hope you have a pen and paper nearby because today, we're going over level classifications. Basic descriptions. Levels are defined as self-included planes of partial reality that together make up the bulk of the Backrooms. To simplify, a level is like a pocket dimension within the Backrooms that maintains its own unique field of reality. Some of which are inhospitable to human life, while others resemble the front rooms. The environment within these levels varies drastically between each other. Some can resemble repeating aspects of offices or maintenance tunnels, such as the earlier levels, to a more diverse scenery, such as levels 7 or 9. What should be noted is that each level's specific qualities, such as air pressure or oxygen levels, can differ greatly, so being prepared while dealing with inter-level travel should always take top priority. On the note of inter-level travel, traveling between levels can be quite confusing for newcomers within the Backrooms. Levels are connected in many different ways, with their entrances and exits being unique to the level in question. Some entrances are by no clipping, while others require specific actions to enter. The same goes for exits as well. It also should be noted that the connections between levels are known to shift randomly or outright disconnect from each other. It's thought that this is commonplace within the Backrooms, but due to the lack of knowledge of most of these connections, this remains just speculation. Due to the importance of traversing the Backrooms, for obvious reasons, many wanderers take up the occupation of mapping the different levels and the environments that can be found within them. This is actually how the M.E.G. came into existence, and since then, the aspect of exploring and cataloging the Backrooms is still going strong, drawing many to find out what is hiding within its unknown areas. It should be stated that most level descriptions can be found within the public database. This archive can be accessed by most within the Backrooms. But there are rumors that some levels within the database are purposely hidden or hard to find, in order to hide any information the M.E.G. doesn't want the public to know. You shouldn't concern yourself with such rumors. The M.E.G. would never do such a thing. Now, with that description out of the way, let's get into the different types of levels that can be explored here. Level types. There are 3 types of levels: normal or basic levels, sub-levels, and enigmatic levels. Let's go over the most common type you'll find yourself in first. Normal levels are the most well-known and most easily accessible levels in the Backrooms. Something that is quickly realized about this type of level is their themes. Most normal level themes are focused on a specific tone or aspect of a certain subject. That could be a maze like Infinite Retail Backroom or an Infinite Ocean or Darkness. Once figuring out the theme, understanding the level itself becomes slightly easier to understand, emphasis on the slightly. Normal levels will also have the most entrances and exits in comparison to the other types, meaning wanderers will most likely travel them than the others. These levels are organized and labeled with a natural number, such as levels 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. The next type are sub-levels. Sub-levels are partial offshoots whose size and particular reality fluxes are distinct enough for them to be classified as their own level. Though, the size of the sub-levels rarely exceeds that of the host level. Sub-levels also seem to be an in-between state for levels, with them having the characteristics of their host level and normally the level closest to the host's continuity. This is normally the next level in the number order, but this is not always the case. Most sub-levels have very few ways in or out of them, with nearly all of them using their host levels as the main way of getting or leaving the level. These levels are identified by irrational numbers corresponding with their host level, such as level 1.1 or 3.2. The last level type are enigmatic levels. These are the most complex out of the types. They're also some of the hardest levels to gain access to. The themes of enigmatic levels are known to be based on more of the emotion it can gather from wanderers within. Like the feeling of safety from the hub or the feeling of fear from levels like Level Run. Because of the nature of these levels, traversing them can be more difficult due to their unpredictability. Most enigmatic levels tend to have very difficult ways of entering. For example, the hub again has a complex manner to enter it, though some are extremely easy to get into them. Enigmatic levels are identified by a title rather than a number like the other types. These titles best describe the characteristics of said level. The only enigmatic levels that go against this labeling scheme are negative levels. Negative levels are, as their name implies, negative aspects of their normal level counterpart, though this isn't always the case. They are quite numerous, with most somewhat being easy to get to like normal levels. Their characteristics are like a mixture of sub and enigmatic levels, making them quite dangerous to travel through. As you can probably guess, these levels are labeled with a negative natural number such as levels -1, 2, or 3. A pretty simple way of labeling. Though rooms aren't a level type, they are important in identifying and traversing certain areas of the backrooms. Rooms are specific areas that can be found within each of the different types of levels. Within these rooms, the local reality or general atmosphere act differently than the rest of the level. Some of these rooms can even resemble a completely different level within them in some cases. For the most part, these rooms are the most dangerous area of the level, but some are known to be safe to travel within. With most rooms within the backrooms, traveling through them is not required to get through the level, so most avoid them when they can. Well, the dangerous rooms at least. Survival difficulty classes. Every level within the backrooms is given a survival difficulty class upon their discovery. These classifications are based on multiple factors that determine the survival rate of traversing the level. These factors include the number of hostile entities that can be encountered within the level, as well as the level of danger these entities can possess, how hospitable the environment of the level is to wanderers, the ambient effects of the level on a wanderer, such as its ability to affect the sanity of a person, and lastly the stability of the local reality of the level in question. All of these factors together determine a classification number, a scale of 0 to 5, with 0 being the safest and 5 being the most dangerous. There is another survival difficulty class that lies outside this scale. This classification is known as survival difficulty class, pending or undetermined. This classification is normally given to newly found levels without enough adequate information on it to gather a normal difficulty class. In some cases, when a level undergoes large shifts that completely change the nature of the level, they are given this classification until further knowledge of the newer aspects of the level is understood. Information on the specific attributes of levels with this class are extremely valuable, causing many wanderers to actively try to access and explore them. A true high-risk, high-reward type of job, not many come back from. Let's get into the other difficulty classes. To start us off, Survival Difficulty Class 0, with the pretext of being safe, secured, and devoid of entities. The levels given this class are completely safe to traverse for untrained wanderers. No active threats are known to take place within these levels, outside of wanderer intervention. These levels are best for setting up safe houses or outposts, due to the relative safety. It's also within these levels, you'll most likely run into other wanderers, so head to them for safety whenever possible. Next is Survival Difficulty Class 1, with the pretext of safe, secured, and having a low entity count. Levels with this class are still relatively safe for wanderers to travel through. The only difference between Class 0 and Class 1 levels are the chances of running into an entity. This doesn't specifically mean hostile entities, but a non-human as a whole. The chances are quite low, but it's still entirely possible, so being prepared for an encounter should be done before entering these levels. Next, Survival Difficulty Class 2, with the pretext of being unsafe, secured, and with a low entity count. It's at this class where wanderers should consider how they're going to travel a level and what they should bring to aid them. The chances of running into an entity have increased from the previous difficulty class, yet it's still rather small. More in the 5 to 10% range, so the possibility is there. The environment within these levels also starts posing as a hazard to travel. Though most settings just need common planning to get through, some might require a great deal of thought to traverse. So keep this in mind before going into these levels. It should also be noted that levels with this class are considered the last kind of levels an untrained wanderer should go into alone, with difficulty classes after this one being too difficult for them to go into unaccompanied. Levels with the survival difficulty class of 3 are given the pretext of being unsafe, unsecured, and having a moderate entity infestation. At this difficulty class, traveling through the level pose a danger to those unprepared. The environment of these levels required skill and advanced planning to traverse. It's best to enter these levels with a partner or team if possible, as traveling alone is unadvised due to the active threats that can be found here, such as the fact you will most likely run into entities while traveling these levels. Though the number of entities varies between cases, you'll at least run into one entity. So those planning on coming to these levels should have some backroom combat experience. It's also at this difficulty class that a level's local reality can start to crack in its stability. This can lead to unexplainable phenomena happening that are almost impossible to plan for. Planning is required as unavoidable. It's advised that if you must enter these levels, you should be accompanied by a team of at least 4 other skilled individuals. The local reality of these levels are known to be even more fractured than the previous, so more unpredictable events are likely to happen. It's best to avoid these levels unless you have to traverse them. If so, be very careful, and never go alone if possible. Finally, we have the final class, Survival Difficulty Class of 5 with the pretext of unsafe, unsecured, and high entity count. Levels with this class are the most dangerous levels within the backrooms. These levels' environments are extremely inhospitable to human life and entities are known to greatly infest them. The local reality of these levels can be extremely temperamental, causing unpredictable events. This can make traveling these levels impossible, killing the wanderer as soon as they enter. It's advised not to enter these levels at all. The potential dangers within them are enough to make experienced hardened wanderers think twice before entering. Closing words. So that's how levels within the backrooms are labeled and classified. What do you think about the venting process? Is the process detailed enough or should it be more thorough with its classifications? Let us know what you think. That's going to be all for us today, you guys, so thank you for listening. So until next time, have a wonderful day and be safe out there. I would like to say a very special thank you to our wanderers over at Patreon: Ridiculous, Izzy Klein, Caleb Hills, Zephyr the Cast Iron Crow, Velmex Soro, Nathan Gear, Anakin Bumgardner, Sushi Penguini, Cullen Shaughnessy, Stephen Conger, My Friends Call Me PK, Jeff Nordley, Slim Steven, That One Random Guy, The Good Diamond, Undead, World Ray, Lee, and Malamammon. Thank you all for going that extra step to support us and what we do. It's greatly appreciated. If you would also like to get your name shouted out at the end of the episode, get access to episodes earlier, and other perks, go become a patron on our Patreon. For $1 a month, you can do those things and more. Thanks again for listening, and have a wonderful day.